Hello everyone, and welcome to the Well Baby channel. Today, we have an exciting and valuable topic to discuss. The first trimester is a crucial time of development for your baby. Let's take a week-by-week journey through the first 12 weeks, exploring the changes both you and your baby will experience. Please be sure to watch until the very end, because I'm sure it will be very valuable to you new moms who are anxious to know how your child is developing inside your body. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. This channel is all about your newborn experience and was created specifically to assist you as much as possible with your precious arrival. Now let's get straight into the video. Congratulations on your pregnancy journey. The first trimester is a crucial time of development for your baby. Let's take a week-by-week journey through the first 12 weeks, exploring the changes both you and your baby will experience. Week 1 to 4 during these early weeks, you may not even know you're pregnant yet. Fertilization occurs, and the fertilized egg implants into the uterine lining. Rapid cell division begins, and a tiny ball of cells forms. The first trimester of pregnancy is a critical and transformative period in a woman's journey to motherhood. It spans from the moment of conception through the 13th week of pregnancy. Here's a breakdown of the key developments and changes that occurred during weeks 1 to 4 of the first trimester. Week 1, this week marks the beginning of your pregnancy. Conception typically occurs when a sperm fertilizes an egg in the fallopian tube. The fertilized egg, called a zygote, begins to divide and form a ball of cells. By the end of week 1, the zygote travels down the fallopian tube and implants itself into the uterine lining. Week 2, early development, the ball of cells is now called a blastocyst, and it continues to divide and develop. Specialized cells in the blastocyst develop into the placenta, which will be essential for supplying nutrients and oxygen to the developing embryo. Hormone levels, including human chorionic gonadotropin, HCG, begin to rise. This hormone is what pregnancy tests detect. Week 3, neural tube formation, the neural tube, which will become the brain and spinal cord, starts to form. The heart, blood vessels, and other major organs begin to develop. HCG levels continue to rise, and this is when many women start experiencing early pregnancy symptoms like breast tenderness, fatigue, and nausea. Embryo development, by the end of week 4, the embryo is about the size of a poppy seed but has the beginnings of the brain, spinal cord, and heart. The placenta continues to develop, and the amniotic sac, which will protect and cushion the baby, begins to form. Most home pregnancy tests can detect pregnancy at this point, as HCG levels are high enough. Some women may start experiencing morning sickness during week 4. It's important to note that during the first trimester, particularly in the early weeks, the embryo is extremely vulnerable to external factors, so it's crucial for pregnant individuals to maintain a healthy lifestyle, including a balanced diet, proper prenatal care, and avoiding harmful substances such as alcohol, tobacco, and certain medications. During this time, it's also advisable to start consulting with a healthcare provider to monitor the progress of the pregnancy and receive guidance on prenatal vitamins, nutrition, and other aspects of prenatal care. Every pregnancy is unique, so it's essential to seek personalized medical advice and care to ensure a healthy pregnancy and baby. By week 5, the embryo's heart starts to beat. The neural tube, which will become the baby's brain and spinal cord, begins to develop. Basic facial features and limb buds start forming. During week 5 of the first trimester of pregnancy, significant developments continue to occur as the embryo grows and begins to take on a more recognizable shape. Here are some key events happening. At the beginning of week 5, the embryo is still tiny, measuring only about 1/17 of an inch, 1.5 millimeters, in length. It looks more like a small, curved tube at this stage. The neural tube, which will eventually become the brain and spinal cord, continues to develop and fold over. This is a critical stage in the formation of the central nervous system. The heart is rapidly developing. By the end of week 5, it starts to divide into chambers and begins to beat. Although it's still very basic, this tiny heart is beginning to pump blood. The limb buds, which will eventually become the arms and legs, start to appear as small protrusions on the sides of the embryo. Rudimentary eye structures and ear pits form during this week. These early structures will eventually develop into the eyes and ears. The beginnings of facial features, such as the nose, mouth, and even tiny pits that will become nostrils, are starting to take shape. The gastrointestinal tract begins to form as a simple tube. It will eventually give rise to various parts of the digestive system, including the esophagus, stomach, and intestines. The umbilical cord, which will connect the embryo to the placenta and serve as a lifeline for nutrients and oxygen, starts to form. The amniotic sac continues to expand and fill with amniotic fluid. This fluid will protect and cushion the developing embryo throughout pregnancy. Hormone levels, especially human chorionic gonadotropin, HCG, continue to rise. These hormones play a crucial role in supporting pregnancy. Some women may start experiencing more pronounced pregnancy symptoms during week 5, such as morning sickness, nausea and vomiting, breast tenderness, fatigue, and changes in appetite. It's important to note that the early stages of pregnancy are a critical time for the development of the embryo, and a healthy lifestyle, good prenatal care, and avoidance of harmful substances remain crucial. Many women schedule their first prenatal appointment with a healthcare provider during this period to confirm the pregnancy and receive guidance on prenatal care, nutrition, and other important aspects of pregnancy health. Weeks 6 to 7, during these weeks, you might experience morning sickness, fatigue, and increased appetite due to hormonal changes. The embryo's facial features become more defined, and limb development continues. During weeks 6 and 7 of the first trimester of pregnancy, significant developments continue to take place as the embryo rapidly grows and undergoes various transformations. Here's an overview of what's happening during these weeks. By the end of week 6, the embryo is approximately a quarter inch, 6 to 7 millimeters, long. It still has a curled appearance and resembles a tadpole, with a noticeable head and tail. The embryo's heart continues to develop and beat, and it can often be detected through ultrasound or Doppler technology at this stage. Facial features continue to develop. The eyes become more prominent, and the rudimentary structures for the ears and nose continue to take shape. The limb buds, which appeared earlier, continue to grow and differentiate. Tiny paddle-like hands and feet begin to form. The brain undergoes significant development, with the formation of various brain structures and neural connections. The digestive system continues to develop, and the liver starts to produce red blood cells. The intestines, which previously grew outside the abdomen, begin to move into the abdominal cavity. The umbilical cord, which connects the embryo to the placenta, becomes more distinct and functional. The amniotic sac continues to produce and fill with amniotic fluid. This fluid serves as a protective cushion for the developing embryo. Hormone levels, particularly HCG, continue to rise. These hormones play a crucial role in supporting pregnancy. Many women experience common pregnancy symptoms, including morning sickness, breast tenderness, increased urination, and fatigue. These symptoms can vary in intensity from woman to woman. By the end of week 7, the embryo is approximately half an inch, 12 to 13 millimeters, long and begins to take on a more human-like appearance. The tail that was present earlier starts to disappear. The eyes continue to develop with the formation of the retina and lens. Ear development progresses, and the external ear structures become more defined. The major organs, including the heart, lungs, liver, and kidneys, continue to mature and become more functional. Limb development advances, and fingers and toes start to separate from the paddle-like structures. The digestive system continues to develop with the formation of the esophagus, stomach, and intestines. Hormone levels, especially HCG, continue to rise and may peak during this time. Morning sickness and other pregnancy symptoms may persist or become more pronounced. Some women also notice changes in their skin and may experience mood swings. It's important for expectant mothers to continue prenatal care during these weeks, including regular checkups with a healthcare provider, taking prenatal vitamins, and maintaining a healthy lifestyle. If you have any concerns or questions about your pregnancy, it's advisable to consult with a healthcare professional for guidance and support. By week 8, the embryo is about the size of a raspberry. Major organs, such as the liver, kidneys, and intestines, are forming. The embryo starts to look more like a human. During week 8 of the first trimester of pregnancy, the embryo continues to develop rapidly, and significant changes in milestones take place. Here's what's happening this week. By the end of week 8, the embryo measures about 1 inch, 2.5 centimeters, in length, roughly the size of a grape. It begins to look more like a miniature human with distinct features. Limb development progresses, and the hands and feet continue to mature. Fingers and toes become more defined, and tiny nails start forming. The facial features become more distinct. The eyes, which were previously on the sides of the head, move closer together. The eyelids develop but remain closed. Ear development continues, and the external ears become more prominent. The heart is fully formed and continues to beat steadily. It has been divided into 4 chambers, and the circulation system is becoming more complex. Although it may be too early to determine the baby's sex through ultrasound, the internal reproductive organs are developing during this time. The amniotic sac continues to produce amniotic fluid, which surrounds the embryo and provides protection and cushioning. The umbilical cord is well established and continues to supply nutrients and oxygen to the growing embryo while removing waste products. Hormone levels, including human chorionic gonadotropin, HCG, remain elevated to support the pregnancy. Many women experience pregnancy symptoms during week 8, including morning sickness, breast tenderness, fatigue, frequent urination, and changes in appetite. Some women may also notice skin changes or darkening of the areolas, the dark area around the nipples. Hormonal fluctuations can lead to mood swings and emotional changes, which are common during pregnancy. Some healthcare providers may recommend an ultrasound during this time to check the baby's development, confirm the due date, and ensure that the pregnancy is progressing as expected. Continuing with regular prenatal care is essential during week 8 and throughout the pregnancy. This includes attending prenatal appointments, taking prenatal vitamins, and following healthcare provider recommendations for a healthy pregnancy. It's important to note that every pregnancy is unique, and development can vary from one person to another. If you have any concerns or questions about your pregnancy, it's advisable to consult with your healthcare provider, who can provide guidance, answer your questions, and monitor your progress to ensure a healthy pregnancy and baby. Week 9 to 10, your body might be undergoing changes, like a slightly expanding waistline. Hormones continue to surge, affecting emotions and possibly causing mood swings. The embryo's tail disappears as it takes on a more human-like appearance. During weeks 9 and 10 of the first trimester of pregnancy, the embryo continues to grow and develop rapidly. These weeks mark the transition into the later part of the first trimester. Here are the key developments and changes that occurred during this time. By the end of week 9, the embryo is approximately 1.2 to 1.6 inches, 3 to 4 centimeters, long and takes on a more human-like appearance. The eyes, which were previously positioned close together, move closer to their final positions on the sides of the head. Eyelids remain closed. Although it may still be too early to determine the baby's sex through ultrasound, the external genitalia continue to develop. Limbs continue to grow and become more proportional to the body. Fingers and toes, which were previously webbed, further separate, and tiny nails continue to develop. The heart continues to beat steadily, and the circulatory system becomes more complex as blood vessels develop. Major organs, such as the liver, kidneys, and lungs, continue to mature and take on more functions. The digestive system also progresses. The umbilical cord remains well established, supplying nutrients and oxygen to the growing embryo while removing waste products. The amniotic sac continues to produce amniotic fluid, which provides protection and cushioning for the developing embryo. Hormone levels, including human chorionic gonadotropin, HCG, may remain elevated during this period to support the pregnancy. Many women experience ongoing pregnancy symptoms, including morning sickness, breast tenderness, fatigue, frequent urination, and changes in appetite. Some women may also notice skin changes or darkening of the areolas. By the end of week 10, the embryo is approximately 1.6 to 2.5 inches, 4 to 6.4 centimeters, long. It starts to look more like a tiny human, with distinct facial features, limbs, and fingers. The facial features continue to develop, and the eyes are fully formed, although the eyelids remain closed. While the embryo is still very small, some minimal movements may occur. At this stage, these movements are typically too subtle for the mother to notice. Major organs continue to mature and become more functional. The liver begins to produce bile, and the kidneys start producing urine. Limbs continue to grow and become more coordinated. Joints, such as elbows and knees, become more flexible. Hormone levels, especially HCG, may remain elevated. Pregnancy symptoms, such as morning sickness and breast tenderness, may persist or even intensify during week 10. Regular prenatal care is crucial during these weeks. Healthcare providers may perform ultrasound scans and other tests to monitor the baby's development and ensure a healthy pregnancy. Hormonal fluctuations can still lead to mood swings and emotional changes during this time. As you progress through the first trimester, it's important to maintain proper prenatal care, including attending scheduled prenatal appointments, taking prenatal vitamins, and following your healthcare provider's advice to ensure a healthy pregnancy and baby. Be sure to tune into our other informative sessions listed right here on our channel. Like a week-by-week journey into your second, third, and navigating fatherhood, tips for first-time dads. You won't want to miss them. At week 11, your baby is now officially a fetus. It can make small, uncoordinated movements, although you won't feel them yet. Facial features become more distinct, and the fingers and toes are no longer webbed. During week 11 of the first trimester of pregnancy, the embryo is continuing to develop rapidly, and many significant changes are taking place. The key developments and changes that occurred this week are: by the end of week 11, the embryo has grown to be about 1.6 to 2.4 inches, 4 to 6 centimeters, in length and starts to look more like a tiny human. The tail, which was present earlier in development, is now completely gone. Facial features continue to develop and become more distinct. The eyes, which were previously positioned closer together, have moved into their final positions on the sides of the head. The eyelids remain closed. While it may still be too early to determine the baby's sex through ultrasound, the external genitalia continue to develop. Limbs have continued to grow and become more coordinated. Fingers and toes are now well formed and have tiny nails. Joints, such as elbows and knees, are more flexible. Major organs continue to mature and become more functional. The liver is actively producing bile, and the kidneys are producing urine, which is excreted into the amniotic fluid. The placenta continues to grow and mature, providing essential nutrients, oxygen, and hormonal support to the developing embryo. Hormone levels, including human chorionic gonadotropin, HCG, are still elevated during this period to support the pregnancy. The nervous system continues to develop, with the brain expanding in complexity and forming more connections. The sensory organs, including the inner ear, continue to develop. Although the eyes are fully formed, the eyelids remain closed to protect the developing retinas. The heart, which has been beating steadily since early in development, continues to pump blood efficiently. Many of the early pregnancy symptoms, such as morning sickness, breast tenderness, and fatigue, may still be present during week 11. Some women may also notice skin changes, darkening of the areolas, and mild swelling. Hormonal fluctuations can still affect moods, leading to occasional mood swings and emotional changes. Regular prenatal care is essential during this time. Healthcare providers may perform ultrasound scans and other tests to monitor the baby's development and ensure a healthy pregnancy. There may be some slight movements while the embryo is still small, but the mother typically won't feel them until later in the pregnancy. As you progress through the first trimester, it's important to continue proper prenatal care, including attending scheduled prenatal appointments, taking prenatal vitamins, and following your healthcare provider's recommendations to ensure a healthy pregnancy and baby. During week 12 of the first trimester of pregnancy, you've reached a significant milestone as you transition into the second trimester. The embryo is now considered a fetus, and many important developments continue to take place. By the end of week 12, the fetus has grown to be approximately 2.5 to 3 inches, 6.3 to 7.6 centimeters, in length and weighs around half an ounce, 14 grams. It looks more like a miniature human, with distinct facial features, limbs, and fingers. Facial features are becoming increasingly well-defined. The eyes, which were previously positioned closer together and had closed eyelids, have now moved into their final positions on the sides of the head, and the eyelids may begin to reopen. The nose and mouth continue to develop. The external genitalia continue to develop, and it may be possible to determine the baby's sex through ultrasound, though this can vary depending on individual circumstances and the baby's positioning. Limbs have continued to grow and become more coordinated. Fingers and toes have fully formed, and the fetus can flex and move them. Major organs are maturing further. The liver is actively producing bile, and the kidneys are producing urine, which is excreted into the amniotic fluid. The digestive system is becoming more complex. The placenta, which has been developing throughout the first trimester, continues to provide essential nutrients, oxygen, and hormonal support to the developing fetus. Hormone levels, including human chorionic gonadotropin, HCG, may begin to decrease as the placenta takes over some of the hormone production. The nervous system continues to develop, with the brain expanding in complexity and forming more connections. Nerve cells, neurons, are growing rapidly. Sensory organs, including the inner ear, continue to develop. While the eyes are fully formed, the eyelids may begin to open intermittently. The fetal heart continues to beat regularly and can usually be heard using a Doppler ultrasound device. Some of the early pregnancy symptoms, such as morning sickness, breast tenderness, and fatigue, may start to ease for some women during week 12. However, each pregnancy is unique, and symptoms can vary widely. Hormonal fluctuations can still affect mood, but many women begin to feel more emotionally stable as the first trimester comes to a close. Regular prenatal care remains essential. During week 12, your healthcare provider may perform additional tests and screenings, such as the nuchal translucency ultrasound, to assess the baby's risk of certain genetic conditions. There may be some slight movements while the fetus is still small, but the mother typically won't feel them until later in the pregnancy. Reaching the end of the first trimester is an exciting milestone, and it often brings relief for many expectant mothers who may have experienced early pregnancy symptoms. It's important to continue with proper prenatal care, attend scheduled prenatal appointments, take prenatal vitamins, and follow your healthcare provider's guidance to ensure a healthy pregnancy and baby. Congratulations! You've reached the end of the first trimester. The risk of miscarriage decreases significantly. Your baby's vocal cords are forming, and reflexes are developing. It's a great time to start planning for the exciting months ahead. Thank you all for tuning in today. If you found this information helpful, be sure to like and subscribe. And as always, feel free to leave your comments or questions below. The first trimester is a remarkable period of growth and change. Remember to take care of yourself by eating well, staying hydrated, and getting enough rest. Join us next time for a detailed look at the second trimester. Wishing you health and happiness on this incredible journey.